The bright morning sun was shining over the city when Nolan Mercer ran out of the children's hospital with tears burning in his eyes and a crumpled estimate shaking in his trembling hand. $5,500. That was the exact amount standing between his little daughter and the surgery that could save her eyesight forever. He had only 9 days before the doctors said the damage might become permanent. As he desperately called every bank, every friend, and every former colleague, one heartbreaking piece of news shattered whatever hope he had left. The woman who once promised to stand beside him through every storm, his former wife, now the wealthy CEO of a billion-dollar real estate company, had just spent nearly $4 million on a luxurious beach house. While one little girl counted the days until darkness might become permanent, her own mother was celebrating an oceanfront dream. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, forgiveness, and second chances still exist in this world, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, share this story with someone you care about, and subscribe to Lifeline Tales so you never miss another emotional journey that reminds us what truly matters. Morning traffic rushed past as Nolan stood frozen on the hospital steps, unable to hear the noise around him. Everything sounded distant except for the doctor's words repeating inside his head. His daughter, Ava, had developed a rare complication after an accident months earlier. The specialists had discovered a new procedure that offered an excellent chance of restoring her vision, but insurance refused to cover it because it was considered experimental. The hospital gave Nolan every possible discount, yet the remaining amount still came to $5,500. To some people it was the price of a vacation. To Nolan, it was a mountain too high to climb. 3 years earlier, life had looked completely different. Nolan had been an architect with a promising future while his wife, Sienna Ashcroft, had just accepted a leadership role at a fast-growing development company. They dreamed of building beautiful homes and raising their daughter together. Success came quickly for Sienna, but with every promotion came longer hours, endless meetings, and a growing distance between husband and wife. Nolan chose to work less so he could care for Ava, believing family mattered more than career. Instead of bringing them closer, the sacrifice slowly drove them apart. Eventually the marriage collapsed beneath ambition, misunderstandings, and pride. The divorce was quiet but painful. Nolan never fought for money. He only asked to keep raising Ava in a peaceful home. Sienna agreed to generous monthly support, but after becoming CEO, her world expanded beyond recognition. International conferences, magazine covers, interviews, and billion-dollar projects filled every calendar. Phone calls became shorter. Visits became rarer. Birthdays turned into expensive gifts delivered by assistants instead of hugs from a mother. Despite everything, Nolan never poisoned Ava's heart against her mother. Every morning they shared breakfast together before school, laughing over pancakes shaped like stars. Nolan worked freelance jobs from home while caring for her, making every dollar stretch as far as possible. Their apartment was small, but sunlight poured through the kitchen windows, filling every corner with warmth. Ava often said it felt like the happiest home in the world because her father was always there. Then came the bicycle accident that changed everything. At first the injury seemed minor, but weeks later Ava began losing sight in one eye. Specialists discovered internal damage that worsened each month. Hope existed, but hope required money. Nolan sold his motorcycle first. Then his camera collection. Then the engagement watch his grandfather had given him. He emptied every savings account until nothing remained except enough for groceries and rent. He worked nights designing blueprints for construction firms while sleeping only a few hours before taking Ava to appointments every morning. Exhaustion settled into his face, yet he never complained because every smile from his daughter reminded him what he was fighting for. When the hospital confirmed the final payment deadline, Nolan finally gathered enough courage to contact Sienna personally. He believed no matter how broken their marriage had become, they would always stand united for their daughter. His message remained unread for 2 days. On the third morning he opened a business magazine while waiting in a pharmacy. Across the front page was Sienna smiling beside the keys to her newly purchased beach mansion. Headlines praised her vision, her investments, and her luxurious lifestyle. Reporters admired the infinity pool overlooking the ocean and described the property as one of the most expensive private homes purchased that year. Nolan quietly folded the magazine and placed it back on the shelf. His heart wasn't broken because she had become wealthy. It broke because somewhere between success and status, she no longer seemed to notice the little girl waiting for her. Still, he refused to surrender. Every sunrise became another opportunity to fight. He organized community garage sales during the day. He repaired neighbors' furniture. He delivered groceries before dawn and designed buildings late into the night. Local cafe owners quietly slipped extra tips into his pocket after hearing about Ava. Teachers donated small amounts from their own salaries. Elderly neighbors left envelopes beneath his apartment door containing $20, $50, sometimes only $5 with handwritten notes promising prayers. Slowly, the community became something extraordinary. People who had never met Ava believed her future deserved protecting. Meanwhile, Sienna's company announced a grand celebration at the very beach house, making headlines nationwide. Business leaders, celebrities, investors, and journalists gathered beneath bright blue skies while photographers captured glamorous moments against the sparkling ocean. One unexpected guest changed everything. Margaret Ashcroft, Sienna's retired mother, arrived quietly after visiting Ava earlier that week. She had seen the child's fading eyesight and the brave smile hiding enormous fear. During the celebration, Margaret looked across the elegant ballroom filled with luxury and asked a single question loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. She wondered whether anyone there knew that the CEO's daughter needed life-changing surgery while millions had just been spent on another vacation home. Silence spread across the room. Several executives lowered their eyes. Journalists stopped taking photographs. Even the ocean breeze seemed to disappear. Sienna stared at her mother, believing she had misunderstood. Margaret calmly handed her the hospital estimate Nolan had refused to send publicly because he never wanted pity. Alongside it were dozens of receipts showing everything Nolan had sold over the previous months. For the first time in years, success no longer felt impressive. That afternoon Sienna canceled every remaining interview and drove directly to the hospital. She didn't arrive wearing designer confidence. She arrived looking like someone carrying years of regret. From behind a waiting room window she watched Nolan helping Ava finish a coloring book she could barely see anymore. Instead of sadness, he filled every page with laughter, describing colors and encouraging her imagination to paint what her eyes struggled to recognize. Only then did Sienna finally understand something money had hidden from her. Nolan had never become poor. He had become rich in love. She had become wealthy in possessions but bankrupt in moments that could never be bought back. Without making a speech or demanding forgiveness, Sienna walked to the billing office and quietly paid the entire amount. She also created a permanent medical trust ensuring Ava would never again face treatment delays because of finances. But the greatest change didn't happen on a bank statement. It happened the next morning. Instead of rushing to another board meeting, Sienna sat beside Ava's hospital bed as sunlight poured through the windows. She brushed her daughter's hair, read her favorite adventure stories, and remained there through every minute of surgery. Hours felt like years until the surgeon finally emerged smiling. The procedure had been successful. Recovery would take time, but Ava had an excellent chance of seeing normally again. Nolan closed his eyes and thanked God with tears streaming down his face. Every sleepless night, every extra job, every sacrifice suddenly felt worthwhile. Weeks later, Ava stepped outside wearing oversized sunglasses while bright afternoon sunshine reflected across the park. She slowly removed the glasses, blinked several times, and smiled at the colorful flowers blooming around her. She whispered that she could finally see every petal clearly. Nolan cried openly. Sienna cried beside him. Neither spoke because some miracles deserve silence. Months passed, and healing continued beyond hospital walls. Sienna reduced her workload, delegated responsibilities, and chose family dinners over luxury events. She sold the beach house that had once symbolized success and donated part of the proceeds to establish a foundation helping parents afford emergency medical care for children. She knew one generous act could never erase years of absence, but every new day gave her another chance to become the mother Ava deserved. Nolan never allowed bitterness to define him. He accepted Sienna's efforts without forgetting the past, believing forgiveness was not pretending pain never existed but choosing not to let pain control tomorrow. Together, they built something unexpected, not another marriage, but a healthier family centered around one extraordinary little girl who had unknowingly taught two adults the true meaning of love. If this story has touched your heart so far, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, subscribe to Lifeline Tales, and leave a heartfelt comment because your support allows more inspiring stories like this to reach people around the world.